Ready for the spotlight?
WIFO Big Dog Country Local Musician Spotlight, sponsored by Union Station Brewing Company, Watermelon Gumballs, Misty's Pharmacy, England's Collision Center, and American Steel Buildings. Tune in every week to hear the best local talent put all the rest of the test.
Come on and crank it up for this week's star.
Right here on 105.5 WIFO Big Dog Country.
Local Musician Spotlight for this Friday morning, the 21st day of June. Butch Hubbard here with you, along with our guest, the top vote getter this week in Local Musician Spotlight. And you are?
Levi Moore. Thank you for having me.
Levi Moore. Levi Moore. I wanted him to introduce himself this morning. There's a little change there. I usually introduce him. I like sometimes for a person to introduce himself. You need to be in radio with that voice.
Well, thank you. I had somebody tell me that just the other day. I was at a wedding. He'd come up out of nowhere. Are you on radio?
Oh, you ought to be. And so, Local Musician Spotlight, you were the top vote getter this week. We had Dallas Rogers from Fitzgerald, Victory Drive Band of Savannah, and then, of course, you, the top vote getter. Do you know any of those folks?
I know of a lot of people.
You know of them?
Yes, sir. That's the way I refer to most of the musicians and people that I interact with. I mean, are mostly musicians, and so but we're all going a million different directions, and so.
I didn't know if you known Victory there from Savannah.
Yes, sir. I'm more familiar with them, although I don't know them personally.
But you, I know because we've been doing this for about 3 months now, having different musicians in here or either on the phone for the last 3 months, and it's amazing how well y'all all know each other. Some play together, some have perform gigs together, yes, even though they might be a solo artist or they may be in bands, and then they'll play with someone else but come back with a band, right, and do that. Do you do that?
I do that some, although I tend to stay pretty true to my solo act, partly just because I'm so many different places. I play on St. Simons and Sea Island and Hilton Head a lot in the summertime. Savannah, anywhere I can. Anywhere I find the opportunity between St. Simons and Hilton Head, really, and, of course, here in Jessup.
Now, is this a brand of a whiskey from Nashville that you've got on your T-shirt here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir,
okay.
It is.
Okay, because it's Loud Music Smooth Whiskey, so that's made there in Nashville?
Yes, sir. It's a Standard Proof Whiskey is the company name. They do several different things. I'm a big whiskey or bourbon fan.
Okay.
They've got a lot of good infused flavors and such as that, and it's a little different take on things.
Okay, we've had guys and gals wearing all kinds of shirts in here for the past 3 months, and some of them are locations that they've played at, and things of that sort, or somewhere they'd like to play at, or different things. But we've got, of course, in this morning, we've got Levi in here this morning, and were you surprised that you were the top vote getter? You get a nice paragraph on our Facebook page there telling folks about yourself.
Well, to answer the first question, I was surprised, and which I typically am with those sorts of things. I've been real fortunate to have, through the different paths I've walked, I've met a lot of different people and made a good impression on enough of them, I guess, that they have been willing to support me through my various endeavors.
Okay. You're listening to the Local Musician Spotlight this morning here on Big Dog Country Radio with Levi Moore, Savannah. We'll be back with more of the show in just a moment. He's got his guitar here. He's going to play a selection in just a little bit, so stay tuned.
When it comes to auto body repairs and glass replacements, trust the experts at England's Collision Center and Mobile Glass in Jessup. Whether you've been in a fender bender or need a windshield replacement, England's has the experience and expertise to get your vehicle back on the road in no time. Plus, with their convenient mobile glass service, England's Collision Center can come to you, making the repair process even more convenient and hassle-free. Don't let auto body damage or a cracked windshield slow you down. Visit England's located at 586 Southwest Broad Street or give them a call at 912-588-9922. England's Collision Center and Mobile Glass, serving Wayne County for over 25 years. Proud sponsor of the WIFO Local Musician Spotlight.
Misty's Pharmacy, located in the heart of downtown Jessup, just across from the train depot, has everything you want in a local pharmacy. We offer a drive-through for your convenience, free in-town delivery service, not to mention an amazing staff with smiling faces to greet you when you come inside. While inside, you can browse our gift section. In our fast-paced world, everyone wants things quickly, so we strive to keep your wait time low. I'm Misty, and I would love for you to give us a chance to get to know your name. With us, it's personal.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Hey y'all, it's Jonathan Wheat from Union Station Brewing Company, Wayne County's first and only brewery. We do a lot of firsts around here. We built Jessup's first beer garden, built the first indoor axe throwing facility, host open mic nights, taproom yoga, and of course, we're the first family-friendly place to grab amazing craft beer. We're proud to sponsor the local musician spotlight, many of whom have performed here already. Keep an eye out for future dates with some of these great artists. We're located at 106 Southwest Broad Street in Jessup, down by the tracks. Union Station Brewing Company. Craft beer just got better.
Local musician spotlight here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jessup. But we'd like to let you know, once we get through with the local musician spotlight this morning, we're going to give away a Wild Adventure ticket voucher, good for 4 one-day admissions to Wild Adventures Park. That's valid through July 7th, so get ready to win that after we get talking with Levi. Levi, I talked about your T-shirt there. Tell me about your cap up there. Is that a rodeo?
It's just, I think it's just a brand that. And the story behind, I don't know all that much there is to know about other than it's from the popular or popular saying out of our scripture, the salt of the earth. The story behind why I have this hat is I was up in Missouri here a few weeks ago helping my dad with some things, and we were wandering around a store together, and we saw the hat, and we both just liked the hat.
Because you were talking about that you grew up with horses and stuff like that. So I didn't know. Sir. Did you ever go to rodeos and stuff like that?
I did. I didn't participate too much in at least in the really rodeo events. Partly because I was focused on football at that time and trying to earn a football scholarship, which I ultimately did, and rodeo was. If I'd have gotten hurt in rodeo,
you'll get hurt in rodeo. It's not a matter of if; it's just a matter of when.
Right? Yes, sir.
And where'd you get a scholarship to play football?
Missouri State.
Missouri State. Which town is that in?
That's in Springfield, Missouri.
Okay. Did you stay there all the time? Or
yes, sir. Yes,
all
sir.
4 years.
I did.
What position did you play?
Defensive end.
I knew you were on defense. I figured it was either the end or linebacker, but
yes,
you were
sir.
Defensive end.
Yes, sir.
You were a rusher, huh?
Yes, sir. I was recruited as a tight end / linebacker. That's what I played in high school, and then / defensive end. I think there was me and one other kid that they on the recruiting after we signed it. We were just listed as kind of general athletes because we were 2 or 3 way players, and they weren't sure where we'd end up.
Okay, and so you talked about you kind of growing up there some in South Missouri. How did you end up in Savannah, Georgia?
Well, I was born in Savannah, Georgia, and then we lived for a short while out around Midway, which is close to where I'm at now. And then we bounced around the southeast, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, that finally made our way up to southern Missouri. And I worked around there, graduated college, worked in the oil field for about 3 years after school. I'm on a couple of cattle ranches as well during that time. And then somewhere along the line, said, you know what, I think I'll pick up my guitar and move back to Savannah and try on music for a while.
Okay, talking about picking up a guitar, when did you first start learning music and playing the guitar?
I first started learning when I was a junior, or learning in earnest when
in
I
high
was
school.
No, sir, in college.
In college, okay.
Yes,
okay,
sir. I was a little late to the party. I had a real good friend and teammate of mine who was a fantastic self-taught guitarist and all-around musician, one of those guys that can
play anything. Yeah.
Play anything. Give him 5 minutes with it, and he's passable. And he taught me my first 3 or 4 chords, and then when we were freshmen, we were roommates at the time, and I tried to learn. I didn't get anywhere fast, so it became a hat rack for a while, and then.
Okay.
And one day I was struggling with football and school and just wasn't feeling good about things. And I came in and saw the guitar. I said, you know what? I'm going to learn how to play. And from then on, it was just...
How did you learn?
I dug in my memory banks and remembered those first original 3 chords that he taught me. And then other than that, it was just looking up things on
So you just kind of did it on your own?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, look where Elvis got with 3 chords.
Well,
All right.
that's, I mean, you can play.
Johnny Cash.
There's literally thousands of songs that can be played with 3-4 chords.
Yeah. All right. So you learned then, and then, so how did it become more of a passion to start playing at venues?
It was really there. It was a pretty marked point, really, for me, because I'd started learning to play. I was playing it on tailgates, and I had a couple of, when I was working some cattle ranches, there was a couple of local diners and bars that were kind enough to put up with my noise. I was a long way from getting anything accomplished at that time, but that got my feet wet, and then it became interesting. And then I went, because of that, I was starting to get antsy, and I was found an opportunity to go to the oil field, and I was in Arkansas at the time, and for about the first 8 months I worked there, I was just beside myself with the volume of work and the hours, and just it caught me out of nowhere. Because of course when I got there, so I'll work as much as I can, and when I get a chance, I'll play some local gigs, and that was not going to happen. And so during that time, I didn't pick up the guitar at all. I didn't take it out of the case for probably six or 8 months, and it was sort of fading away at that time, and because it had always just been a hobby, something I enjoyed doing, but not seriously.
Right.
And then I ran into a guy just by happenstance. He was also a songwriter, and he happened to be having on the following Tuesday night a songwriter's night, and he invited me to come down. I said, well, if I'm off working time, I will, and I was. And so I went, and we sat around and played and jammed, and I had so much fun, and it was such a sort of a homecoming feeling to me that I decided then and there that would be, no matter what I was doing or what road I went down, that music would be something that I would continue to do regardless.
All right, and you moved back to Savannah to start your basically full-time career in music. How? When?
That would have been 2016 going into 17, I think.
Okay. All right, so you moved to Savannah and you started playing. Levi Moore of Savannah's in there with us this morning. He was a top vote getter in our local musician spotlight for this week. And I assume you do it full-time now. Do you have a job and then do gigs on the side, or are you full-time music?
No, sir.
now?
I'm fortunate enough to do music full-time these days.
Okay. And how would you say your style of music? What do you play?
I usually introduce myself when I'm asked that prior to a gig is country first and foremost. That's my bread and butter, but also Americana, a little bit of classic rock. I grew up with my dad. It was thanks to my dad. I grew up with listening to the storytellers, the singer-songwriters, Bob Dylan, Gordon Lightfoot, Jim Croce.
Right.
And so I have a very strong affinity for those.
Do you play some Jim Croce songs?
I do, yes, sir.
I love Jim Croce.
One of my very favorites.
He died way too early. I can imagine the songs that could come out of him.
Goodness.
I mean, geez.
I've told people that forever. With even with the prolific catalog that Gordon Lightfoot has, and who I think is
all three that you mentioned are great.
Arguably the greatest balladeer of all time, Gordon Lightfoot. But with the number of songs that have lived on off of that single album from Jim Croce, I don't think anybody else can compare it with just one album released, and how many songs are still played and still known and enjoyed just as much. It's just amazing.
Okay, and so do you play on the stage by yourself with just a guitar, or do you have anything else with you?
Yes, sir. It's mostly just my guitar. I would like to add in a few other instruments, but I've got enough to learn on the guitar still.
Yeah, well, I've seen single artists like you that play the guitar, but they have like a mixer thing with them, with some speakers with a boom beat team thing to it, or add a little effects in there, so it's just not the guitar. So I don't know if you had that too.
Yes, sir. I have a few little gadgets like that. It's pretty amazing what to have. Now I've never got into the big looping stations and the drum pads and things. I have a kick drum simulator that I can operate just by tapping my foot on it, and which is useful. I've tapped my foot while I'm playing anyway. I figure I might as well put it to work. And then also I can loop some things and struggle my way through playing a few lead licks on a few songs. And
okay, now How do people book you and if they wanted to get Levi Moore to play for them at an event?
It's evolved over time. Initially, it was very much the squeaky wheel technique. I would just go and pass out business cards, and I figured if folks didn't want a growing stack of business cards, they'd give me a call back. And
persistency and consistency,
yes,
right there, Levi.
That's it. And but then, as I've played around so much more, it's becoming more and more word of mouth. I'll have different venues reach out to me on my website or on social media.
What kind of venues have you played at? A range of different venues.
I've played it. I mean, I enjoy playing, so I tend not to limit myself too much on that. I played everything from late night nightclubs and bars to dinner gigs, and I play on Sea Island this afternoon.
Which afternoon?
Today? Yes, sir.
Where will you be playing on Sea Island for what?
It'd be the Sea Island Beach Club out there with. If it doesn't rain on us today, it's a nice little sort of tiki bar area out there.
Right.
And
what hours will you be there?
I'll be there 3 to 6.
3 to 6. It'll be an afternoon entertainment thing while people are sitting around the tiki bar there at the beach. You're keeping them entertained during that time period.
Yes, sir.
A little background music with the beach there. That's great.
That's it.
And of course, I'm sure you play well enough where it's not background. People are probably looking at you and applauding and everything else.
I try. You never know. I mean, it changes night to night. Some nights people are really into what you're doing, and other times they're not, and that's okay too. That's been a big learning curve for me, and I imagine all musicians to to realize that
I've been at many events through the years where you have a band up there or a local person or just one person or whatever the case may be, and the crowd's talking and it's like it's the noise is background. They enjoy it. It's not noise. The music they're hearing,
right.
And but it's I know that the people on stage have to be, because people not looking at them and doing all that kind of stuff like that. But like you as an artist, that happens sometimes. It people are so involved in the event they're in, they appreciate that music playing, but that's not the main focus. And then other times where you are the main focus with nothing else going on.
Right. I learned that fortunately early on because I've always been a pretty self-conscious kind of person, and I tend to internalize things like that.
Right.
And early on, probably 3 months into playing it down here, trying to play full time, I had a gig come up that I was really looking forward to, and I played there and I pulled out every trick I had and just nothing. And I was, oh no, what do I do? I don't know.
Well, next time just have it silenced for about a couple of minutes. People wonder where, and just break into bad Leroy Brown just as hard as you can.
That would probably work.
Probably do it. All right, Levi Moore's got his guitar here. What song we're going to hear? We're going after the commercials here.
Okay, I'm gonna try out a new song of mine.
A new
called
song
Margaret.
that you've written.
Yes, sir.
Because you do write and perform a lot of your own songs.
Yes,
right?
sir, I do. This particular song was a co-written effort with a good friend of mine, Miss Taylor Marie Wagner.
Okay, now we'll hear Levi sing in just a moment. You're listening to the local musician spotlight right here on WIFO FM Jessup.
Get ready to satisfy your cravings at Watermelon Gumballs, Georgia's only dessert palace. From the imagination of a 5-year-old boy straight to your taste buds. Indulge in a delightful array of ice cream flavors, tantalizing candies, and delectable treats. Whether you're in the mood for a classic scoop of ice cream or a whimsical gumball creation, we've got something for everyone. Visit us Wednesday through Sunday from noon to 8 p.m. and treat yourself to a taste of pure happiness. Come on down to Watermelon Gumballs, located at 298 West R Street in Jessup, and let your sweet dreams come true.
Are you in need of a durable, reliable, and cost-effective building solution? Look no further than American Steel Buildings in Jessup, Georgia. With American Steel Buildings, you can trust that you're getting a high-quality product at a great price. Call Chad Burke at American Steel Buildings in Jessup, Georgia today at 912-294-2011 or visit our website at americansteelbuildingsllc.com.
105.5 FM in Jessup, Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO. We continue on with the local musician spotlight here on Big Dog Country Radio. In the studio with us this morning is Levi Moore of Savannah. He was the top vote getter this week from our Facebook page, where you can go to every single Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and vote on who you would like to hear on local musician spotlights Friday mornings around 8:35 here on Big Dog Country Radio. All right, tell us about this song, who wrote it, what's it about, and how you came up with the idea to write it.
Well, this song, the title of the song is called "Margarita in the Rain," and I arrived at that title quite literally. I was playing another one of the beach gigs, and it was a warm summer afternoon, so I said, well, margarita sounds perfect. And I got it, and no sooner did I get it and sit down, and it started raining. Well, this is strange. And then just the juxtaposition of a margarita and a happy sunny drink, and now I'm drinking it in the rain. Mm-hmm. And I carried that title around with me and tried to write several things, and to no avail at all. I had a bunch of terrible ideas, and I finally brought it into a good friend of mine. Like I said, Taylor Marie Wagner is a very accomplished songwriter and musician in her own right. And I had this idea, and we were just talking about, well, how about, I've got a sort of a cliche title we could write, and and I gave it to her, and she thought about it for a minute, and well, I was trying to go way too serious with it, like with that whole juxtaposition concept. Right. And she listened to it and thought about it for a minute. So it sounds kind of like it could be a love story, and she came up with. We were going 100 mile an hour, blowing like a hurricane, drinking margaritas in the rain. And just that one concept sparked the whole thing.
And the ideas just started flowing.
Absolutely. Right? And she said, well, what do you think about that? I mean, we can write your idea. And I said, no, my ideas are terrible. That's perfect. And then it was just crafting the song one line at a time. It's fun. Okay, well, good. Well, Levi Moore here on WIFO 105.5 FM and Margarita in the Rain. Take it away, Levi. Right. The first time I saw her, we were down in the Keys, Sunset Pier in the sand. The blue in her eyes outdid the ocean, washed away all of my plans. The summertime sipping on tequila and a lime, I offered to buy the next round. The band started singing about booze in a blender. We danced as the sun went down. Now the salt on the rim of the glass in my hand reminds me of our first kiss. It left me on the rocks in a state of shock. Didn't know it could feel like this. We were going 100 miles an hour, blowing like a hurricane. Now it's just me thinking of you, drinking a margarita in the rain. It's funny how fast time doesn't last. Flames always turn to smoke. She was everything I wanted there in that moment, and then she had to go. And now the salt on the rim of the glass in my hand reminds me of our first kiss. It left me on the rocks in a state of shock. Didn't know it would feel like this. We were going 100 miles an hour, blowing like a hurricane. Now it's just me thinking of you, drinking a margarita in the rain. Well, maybe she knew something I didn't. Maybe it was just good timing. Well, when she went away, the sun did too. I could feel the rain arriving. Now the salt on the rim of the glass of mine reminds me of our first kiss. Left me on the rocks in a state of shock. Didn't know it could hurt like this. We were going 100 miles an hour, blowing like a hurricane. Now it's just me thinking of you, drinking a margarita in the rain. It's just me thinking of you, drinking a margarita in the rain.
I wish I had the sound effects of applause in my computer right now, because that deserves a big round of applause. Levi Moore there, Margarita in the Rain. And that is just fantastic. Absolutely great. You got a good voice, and you had the good elements, the way the song's supposed to be written and performed, and that was really good, Levi.
I truly appreciate it.
All right. And so so folks, you will hear him at different venues around playing original songs like that you haven't heard anywhere else. And you want to hear that again and again. We'll have it on our Facebook page. And also we'll have it on our webpage at bigdogcountry.com. We'll have the Levi Moore interview here on our Facebook and on our website coming up by noon today. And so where do you go from here, Levi? You're heading over to Sea Island this afternoon to perform there on the beach.
Yes, sir.
Maybe you see when I guess you put the tip jar out there, because if you're on Sea Island, you put the tip jar out there, you should get some big tips from those folks over there.
Sometimes you do well. Sometimes it's. It seems like sometimes
that's Sea Island. Yeah, these people got $100 bills just flowing out of their pockets. I mean,
there's been times where one of the better times of tips I had, I forgot to set my tip jar out. I had it full of water bottles and everything else, and I took it, set it beside me, and everybody kept coming. Where's your tip jar? Man, it's stuff scattered everywhere, and it's. Schedule-wise, I'll bounce around. I'm Sea Island this afternoon, and then I'm in Townsend tomorrow night, so a little more locally.
So you stay pretty busy then.
Yes, sir. My schedule right now is my only day off during the week is a Tuesday, and I know not all of those are off, and that's a lot. I've got a lot of stuff on Hilton Head. I think I'm on Hilton Head. Well, I'm on Hilton Head Sunday morning, 11 to 2. Then I come down and play St. Simon's that night, 7 to 9, Sunday night. Then I'm back on Hilton Head on Monday evening.
Where do you play on St. Simon's when you come back down?
Tremici is a new place. A new place for me. I've not played there.
Y'all heard of it? I had never heard of it. Tremici's?
No.
Okay. And you're performing there when?
7 to 9.
What day?
Sunday evening.
This Sunday.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
7 to 9 on Sunday. Have you ever played in Jessup?
Yes, sir, I have.
Okay. Where'd you play?
Well, played in Union Station.
Union Station.
Yes, sir. and play down at the Strand.
Okay.
And I've played a few nights at the VFW, and I always enjoy coming to town. It's a blast.
Okay. And if folks want to book you or know more about you, how do they do that?
Well, probably the easiest way is either any of my social medias, which is at LeviMooreMusic.com, on Instagram, Facebook, so on and so forth. My website has some contact information on there via email and things like that. And I try to stay, as everybody does these days, keep my phone with me and perpetually. So I try to get back and respond to things in a very timely manner.
Okay. Well, Levi, it was enjoyable having you here on the Local Musician Spotlight this week. Glad that you were the top vote getter. Look forward to seeing you in concert one day.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been a great opportunity. I truly appreciate it.
All right. You take care and have a safe trip to Sea Island.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
WIFO-FM Jessup and the Local Musician Spotlight here on this 21st day of June. And it's been brought to you by England's Collision Center and England's Mobile Glass Service, Misty's Pharmacy, Union Station Brewing Company, Watermelon Gumballs. I'm going to have this read. I keep saying Waterball Gumballs, but it's Watermelon Gumballs. And American Steel Building Companies and American Steel Buildings Company.